Hey guys, it's Joe for Pocketnow.com, and a while ago we did a review, first boot and initial impressions video on the HTC Desire HD, and it just came out miserably. The reason behind that is the screen on the Desire HD is just so ridiculously reflective that it really didn't matter what kind of lighting setup I tried to throw at it, it always had reflections. Now, a lot of that was my fault in the way that I typically light my videos, and some of that was a new tripod setup that I had going on that I didn't realize was causing a problem until after. So what I'd like to do is go back and show you again the initial first boot. And so I've gone ahead and factory reset the phone, and let's go ahead and look at that now. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and done a factory reset on the HTC Desire HD and hit the power button, which is up here at the top of the phone, and this is the initial boot. First of all, you get a field of white with the HTC logo in the middle and a vibration to tell you that the phone is powering up. From there you get the HTC Quietly Brilliant animation, and I'm going to call that their trademarked sound. And then it'll wait on this screen for a few seconds. Now, while you're doing this, remember that first boots and initial boots usually take longer than other boots. Of course, we're not talking about just sleeping the phone by hitting the power button and turning the screen off. We're talking about actually physically powering it down like you do if you remove the battery or if you completely ran out of power and had to reboot the phone from a cold state. So this screen right here usually stays for about 30 to 45 seconds, again depending on when you recently booted it up. Now this phone does include something called Fast Boot. In all honesty, I didn't see much with that. I'll see if I can show you something here regarding that Fast Boot, where basically it writes the current state into memory so it can boot up faster. It's kind of like a hibernation rather than a boot. But again, I didn't see much difference here like some other people have been noticing. So we've gone ahead and got to our lock screen, and I don't have my SIM card in it at this time. So let's unlock this. And we're back to the HTC logo screen, which is a little bit unusual for an initial boot sequence. You'd expect once you unlock to go right into your desktop and be able to look at your launcher screens. This will stay here for another several seconds, and from that point it will start to paint the desktop for us. Okay, so what we've got is the setup and configuration screen. This is not an American phone. This is a European and an Asia Pacific phone, so you don't have American English in the list. That's okay. I can understand Queen's English, so we're going to select English United Kingdom and say next. Okay, it tells you how to remove the back plate and how to put the SIM in, which is really neat that, you know, the phone is telling you this is how you do it, just in case you don't know, because this is a different way of a phone manufacturer doing it. I haven't seen anyone do that partial removal of the back with a cover. It tells you how to use the on-screen keyboard, and the keyboard that it comes with is the HTC IME, which is a very nice keyboard. It's not quite as nice as Skype, which the phone does not ship with, but it is a little bit nicer than the stock Android keyboard. We'll skip that tutorial. Okay, it wants me to transfer my data via Bluetooth so that if I've got an older phone, I can transfer over contacts and texts and whatnot via Bluetooth so I can start using this phone right away. That's a very nice thing that I haven't seen in any other phones, where it says, hey, this is your new phone, let's get the stuff off of your old phone to make things easier. Next, it wants me to set up an internet connection. I want to be able to use my mobile network or Wi-Fi. Now over here I'm limited to Edge only when I have a SIM in because of the bands that the phone uses. Whether you're on T-Mobile or AT&T or a similar carrier that uses the same bands, you're only going to get Edge, not 3G, unless you are over in Europe or Asia or England or somewhere over there that has those different bands. We're going to go ahead and say next. Okay. How do we want to sync? Well, we want it to automatically sync rather than manually sync, which is the default. We'll say next. And it asks me if I want to set up a Wi-Fi network, and very quickly finds my network right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this off camera really fast and type in that access key. Now the keyboard that it comes with lets you do both if I can type, it lets you do both letters and numbers on the same keyboard, which is really nice. You don't have to switch between views to be able to do it. It does, however, take a little bit more time because you have to long press on the key to be able to make it be a number instead of a letter. And I think I got that right. And it says it's connecting. And you have no idea how hard it is to type that in while also talking. Now, I've got a check mark over here. If I wanted to add other networks, I can do that at the same point, but we're good. I'm going to say next. I'm going to choose to let Google know my location. Next. And if I wanted to set up an HTC Sense account, I could. Now, HTC Sense is not only the UI, but there's also a website now called htcsense.com, which is really kind of cool. It's a way to help unify all of your contacts, whether they're Facebook, Twitter, of course your Google contacts, and any other contacts that you get on your phone, and synchronize their information all together by linking them through this common service. It's really easy to set up an account, and there's lots of other stuff that that the website does, including the ability to locate your phone and whatnot. So it's really kind of cool to see HTC getting into the services industry rather than just the handset industry. So kind of neat. I'm going to skip the setup for right now and continue on through the process. At this point, I can set up my Google account, my Exchange account, or some other email account. Again, we'll skip that because you've seen that before. It wants me to link with Facebook, Flickr, and or Twitter. Very easy to do that. And then at this point, because I don't have a SIM in here, it wasn't able to get the date and time zone from my carrier. So it wants me to manually provide that. We're just going to accept the default and finish that. That would all be automatic if your carrier provides that. And I don't know of a carrier that doesn't provide that service anymore. So what it's doing is it's taking that information, and the reason why you go through that first and foremost rather than getting the desktop right away is Sense is very, very much a social interface, if you will. And this is kind of dark on screen for you, so let's go ahead and bump the display all the way up to maximum so you can see it a little bit better. Say okay on that and back home. So what do I mean by a social thing? Well, you've got all these really cool widgets, and I wish that these widgets were available for the stock launcher. Other people are trying to do that, but HTC really has an advantage with having their Sense UI being the launcher, in that they can have these widgets that are scrollable. You can scroll up and down. It's not just a static view or a timed rotation view. You can actually scroll through them. And those of you who have seen Sense UI in the past know what I'm talking about. So you can do stuff like friend stream. Now, this is a stream of all of your friends' activities from all the networks that you have subscribed. You can easily go over and launch into the full app and see everything you've got there. I don't have anything, so of course it wants me to sign in. We'll just go back away from that. Here you've got your text message widget. It's just that. Unfortunately, I don't use text messaging. I use Google Voice for text messaging, and it does not tie in with that, so I usually remove that widget. Loading up weather. This is probably one of the cooler things about the device. You've got this weather thing. It knows where I am based on my geolocation, and it says, and then of course this is all Celsius. It knows what my weather is and what the forecast is, and I can refresh it from there. But it also exposes that information right here on the flip clock. And this flip animation's really cool. I love it. Again, Sense UI has just lots of spit and polish that I really like. But when you get weather changes, you'll have weather animating across the screen, and it's kind of really cool. It gets right in your face and lets you know, hey, you've got some weather going on. It's starting to rain, or it's starting to get windy, or whatever, so that you're prepared when you go out of that office building outside. You know what kind of weather to expect. So kind of cool. So overall, not bad. Let me show you really quick the way that you add widgets, because I think Sense UI does a really good job at this too. Or anything, not just widgets. Let's go ahead and add the calculator. So I opened up the drawer, which is this button over here. I'm going to long press on calculator, and now if you look, it's got this little green outline around where I can drop it. So let's go ahead and put that there, and now let's put a widget in, and we'll just add a normal widget. In this case, hey, how about a calculator widget? and we'll select that one. I don't have enough room on the screen, so let's select a smaller one. How about the FM radio widget? Again, that one's too big. Let's see what else we can find. Here we go. Let's choose the market widget, and it goes up there. Now, when you press and move around, can you see that that grayed out area around the screen? That shows you what part of the screen is occupied by a widget, and it lets you know, I can't drop it over here because it's grayed out. So it's kind of nice to help you know where you can drop widgets. And if you're not familiar with Android or making screens look the way that you want them to, this is a really nice user interface element to show people, hey, this is how you do it.